We get some Bant Eldrazi versus some Burn.
So this is an interesting matchup. I think it's in Burns' favor in my mind.
Okay.
Uh, Eldrazi does, however, have some hands that really lock up this burn deck. Um, Eidolon of the Great Revel is not a very good card against the Bant Eldrazi, as all the spells are just big.
Sure.
And Bant Eldrazi's best card is Thought-Knot Seer.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that for sure. That's very difficult for Burn to remove.
Provides a clock, and you get one of their burn spells, so it's literally like gaining 3 to 4 life.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But the burn deck, I mean, can largely ignore what Bant Eldrazi does, and I don't think the Eldrazi deck can muster 20 damage as fast as Burn can. So
oh, absolutely not. If Burn can, there are definitely hands that the Bant Eldrazi deck has that Burn can interact with, like very favorably.
Sure.
But the same can't be said in reverse.
Right. I mean, Bant Eldrazi has to draw specific cards to interact with the Burn deck. Here we go. So I'll note that this Bant Eldrazi deck is different than the colorless Eldrazi deck that's been making the rounds on other streams. I've been hearing other people have been fooling around in Modern with a colorless Eldrazi deck that features Walking Ballistas and Basilisk Collars.
It features Tron lands, which I think is the main draw.
Yeah?
It sounds pretty good. I would be very sad if it was a legitimate deck, but it sounds pretty good.
Why does it make you sad?
I think the Tron lands are really bad designs for like Modern.
Okay. They're definitely... So they're definitely old design, you know what I mean? Like, they're definitely...
Yeah.
You can tell they're from an era of Magic that is before our current understanding of format, set design, etc.
Right.
Their original printing was in Antiquities, and they just cause problems. Alright, so here's Ancient Stirrings, which is one of the best cards in this deck, and I see a Thought-Knot Seer in Logan Mitchell's hand. This is big. So
he needs a land off the top to be able to cast it, though.
He gets a brush land here. Here's a Path to Exile.
So normally you don't want to path your opponent's 1-drops because it ramps them into like a 3-drop.
And I 1000% don't want to path it during my turn.
Correct. But in this case, that's a very legitimate play.
How so? I mean, why didn't you just path on the upkeep here?
Because if Zach doesn't have a land and has like a landfall, like if he has a Searing Blaze.
Okay, it turns that line on.
Correct.
Very interesting. I didn't consider that.
And he does have the land, so it wouldn't matter, but he does have the Searing Blaze, so...
Searing Blaze, sure. Alright. So Zach's going to take the whole 3 to get 3 more on Logan.
Logan needs a temple off the top. Oh, and what do you know?
Here's
Look who came to play.
That's about as good as it gets. 3. We're going to get to find out what these cards are, because... There we go. Here's a Thought-Knot Seer. Now, with 3 cards in hand, he could potentially just... Yeah, you take the Lightning Bolt here.
Yeah, I take the Lightning Bolt. And
that way...
Eidolon of... See, that card just doesn't do anything here.
Well, maybe... I don't know. I would have taken the Lightning Bolt because... That way, Zach needs 2 draw steps before he can remove your Thought-Knot Seer.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a question. Like, I don't even think he wants to at this point. With Logan already at 10.
He left it with 6 points in hand.
Right. You just go to the dome.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're Zach, you just pass and go to the dome and end a turn. Here's another land. Can we get A Reality Smasher would be the best one here.
Matter Shaper, not great, but it does increase this clock if he does draw.
All right.
The
Zach
Reality
puts
Smasher
Logan to 6 or 4, and
has the Boros Charm.
very interesting.
I don't know what else to say.
So that's why you take the Bolt there.
Yeah. So if he takes Bolt, Logan has another turn.
Yeah, so not only does he not get to cast both of his spells next turn, but like one of his spells just actively is not very good.
Right. I suppose Logan was considering the fact that he was going to play Matter Shaper. But if you take the Bolt, Zach casts Eidolon, and he can't cast the other 2-drop spell in his hand.
Right. And then you get to put this pressure on him, like even if you play out your Matter Shaper,
You take 2.
you take 2. He can't really attack you with the Eidolon unless he removes your Matter Shaper. And if he does anything else, he's taking damage, and you have the biggest creature on the board who can freely swing.
Right. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. Thought-Knot Seer, I mean, I think it's the most important card for Logan to be casting. I think him casting it a turn or 2 turns early is really important.
So it's interesting from the Burn player's perspective here. In your experience, do they take out the Searing Blazes?
I would. I'd be much more interested in bringing in things. I actually want to take out all my creatures if I can, except from Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide's an exception to the rule.
Right.
But like you get outsized so quickly that like later in the game when you need to top deck 3 damage, your Monastery Swiftspears and your Eidolons aren't very good.
Right.
Searing Blazes probably. I mean, they count as 3 damage spells, so depending on what your sideboard looks like,
Okay.
I think you want the maximum number of those. So if you can take them out, that would be the first damage spell that I would remove.
Okay.
After I'm done removing Eidolons and Swiftspears. From the Bant Eldrazi side, some of these lists are playing Leyline of Sanctity.
That's aggressive.
I don't think this one is. I do think this one's playing 2 Blessed Alliance.
Blessed Alliance is a solid sideboard card here.
Um,
But if Zach takes your advice and boards out all these creatures, if he can, I mean, he's clearly got more than 15 creatures in his deck.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna. Okay, so Blessed Alliance at worst, you're gonna gain 4 life. At best, you're gonna get 4 life and a Goblin Guide out of it.
Yeah.
But that
Which is
costs you
solid.
4 mana. I mean, that's a lot of mana. I just wanted to gain 4 life.
Okay.
I even considered replacing it with Feed the Clan at some point.
Sure.
Because
That gives you even more life.
right, it just is better. I mean, you get to go ham. Here's a Reality Smasher and Temple in Logan's hand. That's very good. And on Zach's side, here's the Goblin Guide. Oh man, the Thought-Knot Seer is huge.
We're gonna
Oh,
have
man.
running Thought-Knot Seers eventually.
Oh, wow, that's important.
Oh, he doesn't want the Thought-Knot.
I think this is a misplay.
So he needs the white mana to cast the turn 2 Displacer. So do you think that Thought-Knot's worth 2 damage?
Logan's also brought in Worship,
Oh, man.
which can be a big deal.
Yeah, I don't see Zach beating a Worship ever, unless he's got, like, the Destructive Revelry read.
He might have also brought in Chalice of the Void on 1.
That's interesting. He
Oh,
does
yeah,
have
he did.
Chalice.
So man, Chalice on 1 here locks up. It removes a lot of game from the.
Well, with the Goblin Guide already on the table, this Chalice for 1 is much less exciting.
All right, well, Zach, his first expression was, "Oh man, I don't think I could beat that."
Well,
So Logan following up with a Thought-Knot Seer here on turn 3. Hopefully he doesn't choose to take the Lightning Bolt this time, as
Right.
it's automatically countered. All All right, so Logan's going down to 15.
Suspend Revolt.
All right. Oh man, and here's a Spellskite.
Yeah, Spellskite's just the whole game here.
Logan's firing on all cylinders.
How many sideboard cards did Logan bring in?
So I don't know which version Logan chose to play.
It's the only functional card in my hand.
Some decks play Spellskite main, some play an additional 2 Eldrazi Sky Spawners main.
Okay.
Sacred Foundry tapped.
So what do you think of Zach pathing this Thought Knot Seer?
It's gonna get countered by this Chalice of the Void.
Right, but what do you think about running it out and making him?
Remember?
Yeah.
They're just gonna get stuck in my hand when you don't get your chalice.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could stone face it.
Do you think that's like a scummy move? Is more of what I'm getting at.
No, you make people play Magic.
Okay.
So like I ran this play. I crewed my Heart of Kieran with Gideon
Yeah.
and attacked with it, and then when it got blocked by a Aether Sphere Harvester, I recrewed it with my Veteran Motorist
Oh sure.
to
Yeah.
give it +1/+1.
That's fine. That's just like a legitimate Magic play. This is like forcing your opponent to.
Play his cards.
Yeah.
I mean, I think forcing your opponent to play Magic is a legitimate Magic play.
That's fair.
Is that not right answer? Or am I a scumbag?
You're a scumbag.
Or poor Kano los dos, right?
No, I agree with you. I think it's a contentious stance, though. I think a lot of people are like, well, he already played it. You should, it goes against the spirit of the game type deal.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely okay. So let me tell you a story. I'm at Worlds in Memphis. So look that one up to tell you how long ago this was.
Hmm.
I was playing Burn again.
I'm not looking it up. Spoilers. Go ahead.
I was hoping the chat would help us out. I was playing in a PTQ. This tells you further how long ago it was. There's still PTQs at big events. I'm playing.
PTQs are back, baby.
Right? Are we too stoked about that hype? And I'm playing Burn against some sort of control deck.
Hmm.
Guy plays Chalice on 1 against me, and at some point we developed a stack. And he was playing his 1-drops on his Chalice too, like to no effect. Like he was spell snaring like something. Like I think he spell snared something, and like I responded with a bolt or whatever. Anyway, Samstad's looking over my shoulder, and you guys should read Samstad every Friday on the Daily MTG.
On the mothership.
On the mothership, and he goes, wait, guys. And he calls over a judge, and he goes, I just want you to watch this. And he goes, carry on. and I look down, and I'm just like, what? And so we start going to resolve stuff, and the judge is like, yeah, there's this Chalice, and both of us look at each other like, oh, we are idiots. Because we both spent, like lots of time and effort, like, figuring out this, like, the right way to cast our spells and everything else. It was quite humorous.
But this is like, that's back in the day. Like now, if you miss it, even if a judge is watching you, if you miss your trigger on the Chalice, like that's it.
Correct. Missed that PTQ top 8 by 1 card. And was pretty salty about it because it was like a 300 player, situation.
Sure.
I was like, man, I'm gonna win this big tournament. So Logan's named Human. And I've done this before. It's fine. Don't freak out. You can do this here against this burn deck because you don't need the cavern to actually make your spells uncounterable.
It's back.
Got all the one drops out of my hand.
All right, so here's Chalice on 1 again. And let's see if we're gonna follow up with a Thought Knot Seer. That would make me a happy boy.
This needs to be a Skullcrack, I believe.
Well,
So he's got the Searing Blaze in hand, but he doesn't want to fire it off.
well, what he doesn't want to do is he doesn't want to fire off this fetch land.
Right,
But in these burn decks, it's really important to spend all of your mana every turn.
right.
And so it's a tension here between Searing Blaze and
And I need
Skull Cracking and...
So I haven't played a land this turn. These guys are 1/2s.
No, that's a lie.
Did I? I played. Okay. And I did not do that.
What? Alright.
So before I play the land, I need to Searing Blade one of these. So there's one day to land to me and they get prowess. I've never done this line.
So he's Searing Blazing his own creature.
Then I play the land and crack it and go to 18 for a mountain and then suspend it. Okay.
Alright, I'm super
I've
confused.
never done that before. I read it in like an article. Apollo before Dominator, so go for it. Yeah. 'Cause I needed to crack the land this turn, and I feel like the card's already used up its usefulness.
Alright, so here's a temple. And Logan's been on point with these temples. They've come down every
when
game. And here's the Thought Knot Seer, also on point. He's come down every game. Alright, so Skullcrack is exiled. And Logan is at 11. So I think he really has Zach where he wants him here. He can't effectively attack with these Swift Spears.
Well, if he draws another burn spell, he can.
So they would become 3/4s. And I guess
It's just a matter of getting the damage in.
Alright. So if Zach would have drawn a burn spell there, he could have...
You can still run it out.
Alright. So now he's really got the screws to him. Rift Bolt's the only live card. So if Zach draws running Rift Bolts, he can win this game.
Looks like
Outside
he's
of
a
that,
path in hand.
I don't think...
Just keeping you honest.
Yeah, so he does run the path into the Chalice.
Yeah, I think you just slow roll the path. And then you can
Alright.
just like
Alright, this is...
keep a hand together. So this is interesting. He can't play the Displacer.
Right, can't play the Displacer. But he can play this Drowner of Hope.
Yeah, that'll end this game fast.
Right, so this is a 5/5. It's going to gain... Here come the Chubby Scions! Oh, my spirit animal. Alright. Alright, so Zach's really on the draw running Rift Bolts plan. Oh man, yeah. So we saw there. I think every game Logan cast Thought Knots here,
Initially, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
and every game he made the right choice. He won.
I drew the Searing Blade.
I mean, every game he had a Chalice for 1 on turn 2.
He also
He
won.
also won.
That card is uber powerful.
So Zach, with his interesting line with the Searing Blaze,
Uh-huh.
I think was just dead wrong. Like, I think you can just pass, or you can just Skullcrack there and then pass.
No. You attack, let him block one, and Searing Blaze the Thought Knot Seer.
Well, no, this is
Have him
before
block.
he Thought Not Seared.
Oh, sure.
Like, I think if you just
Oh, you just-
Skullcrack,
Yeah, you just Skullcrack attack.
it deals 7 there,
Skullcrack would have done 3.
and then you can just pass. You get Thought Knot.
You get Thought Knotted. He takes the Searing Blaze.
probably takes the Searing Blaze. Yeah, he definitely takes the Searing Blaze.
And then, but then you can attack and he can't block your Swift Spears because he can Rift Bolt the Thought Nuts here after combat.
Right. I don't know if you want to do that, because if you deal him 7 there, because he dealt him 4, and it took him down to 11. So if you deal the extra 3, it takes him down to 8. So then you have the Rift Bolt in hand,
Right.
and then your 2 guys, like, he has to block the Swift Spear in that case, right?
Sure.
So you can even just, like, Rift Bolt his face and swing in, and then any removals or any burn spells live.
Or you could just leave the Searing Blaze in hand and Skullcrack him, suspend the Rift Bolt,
Yeah,
and then your only card is Searing Blaze, which you know is obsolete
right.
anyway. That's what I was saying, is that, like, it's important to spend all of your mana every turn. Which he did, but, like, I don't think the Searing Blaze is, like, particularly critical there.
Sure. Either way, he drew like 3 running lands, and that's not a way you're going to win with his burn deck.
Yeah, and Logan had the nuts sideboard cards both of the games 2 and 3.
Sure. All right,
Super
we'll be
interesting
back
match,
here
though.
in about half an hour for round 4.
Yep. Wish we would have had this one on round 4.
Yeah. Let's see what Zach's doing next round.